So I believe it's 12 o'clock, and a very big welcome from me. From those of you that don't know me, my name is Terry Whitaker. I lead a church called Reach at Gillingham Pier. It's what's known in Anglican terms as a fresh expression of church, and my family is very much part of the St Margaret's family. But it's good to be with you today. I hope you've had a good weekend, Easter weekend. I'm not quite sure what's happened to the weather today. I took the dogs out this morning for my exercise and their exercise, and we got rained on, blown around, and it was freezing. But there we go. It was a good few days while it lasted, and I'm not quite sure when that's coming back. Um, Today I'm thinking about, not surprisingly, I've been thinking about the cross and aspects of the cross, really. And for me, it really revolves around three things. It revolves around courage and obedience, around love, and around forgiveness. The courage and obedience are fairly obvious, and it's an astonishing journey of Jesus to walk into the city and then walk from the city into into effectively the hands of his captors, and to then walk from that place up the hill to his crucifixion. Um, Astonishing courage, astonishing obedience. The driver for that journey is love. And we talked when I was last with you. We talked a bit about love and that love living within us and being at our very core. But we've not really talked about the concept of forgiveness. And over the next 3 days, we're going to talk a bit about forgiveness. From Jesus' point of view, the very heart of the cross is the desire of God to forgive us all that we've done and all that we'll ever do, and to give us that vehicle to take away those things that are wrong. But the question remains as to why is forgiveness so important? Why is it key to us, as far as Jesus is concerned, that we live as forgiven people? When Jesus was talking to his disciples, he was clear that it was his purpose. In his prayer that he taught them, he said for them to pray, "Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us." At the core of his teaching to his disciples is this concept of seeking forgiveness and granting forgiveness. But why? Why is it so important? If you think about forgiveness, you can't think about forgiveness without thinking about hurt and shame and guilt. And the reality is those things hold us captive. When somebody hurts us, we're left in this sort of mutual lock-in where we resent the thing they've done and in part are looking effectively for some sort of recompense or payment of recognition. They may not see it that way. They may have their own perspective of what's going on and maybe feeling exactly the same way as we do. And whilst that feeling continues, while that situation continues, it has a hold on us. We can't truly be ourselves whilst there's this like stone of bitterness that hangs within our souls. I'm privileged to take funerals, but the thing I found shocking is that almost in every case of a funeral, there's a family thing going on where X isn't speaking to Y because of some slight, major or minor, from maybe many years ago. There is no forgiveness there. So it's clear that in order for us to be the people that Jesus wants to be, we've got to deal with this forgiveness thing. And as I say, Jesus teaches us to ask for his forgiveness. And maybe we get that. Maybe we understand that in our faith, that Jesus does forgive and can forgive. But the question I ask today is, can we forgive ourselves? It's a difficult question. We can wholeheartedly believe that Jesus has forgiven us, but can't really let ourselves be forgiven. Why is it so hard? Why, when Jesus went through the agony of crucifixion and the victory over death, why, when the hands are open to free us from the bond, if you like, of that thing that we hold against ourselves, whether that's shame or guilt, why can't we let that go too? Why is it so hard for us? And maybe that's not a problem for you, but actually for me, and probably for the majority of us, that remains a problem. It's sometimes easier to forgive others. And that's kind of curious too. Why is it that we can think of somebody that slighted us, even perhaps fairly significantly, and we can let that go and we can brush it off? Let's be clear, we're not talking about justice here. We're talking about forgiveness, the state of heart that says, I'll hold this against you no more. Why is it that it's a problem for us? I think part of the reason that we struggle to forgive ourselves is that our view of who we are is wrapped up in what we do. I've done some shameful things in the past, some things that I look back in the perspective of where I am now, and I'm deeply ashamed of. Have I forgiven myself for those things? Kind of. But somehow they have a hold on you, and my perception that I am what I do is effectively shaped by these things, these nuggets from the past. That it's like walking around with a rucksack full of rocks. They just take a hold of you. But Jesus doesn't want it that way. We're not people that are defined by what we do. We're people defined by who we are in Jesus. We're people defined by being created in the image of God, of being perfect. And his heart's desire, his walk to his death, is about freeing us from those bonds. He doesn't want us to live this way. Let's maybe, over the course of the next 24 hours, think through, are there things in life that we've not forgiven ourselves for? Where perhaps we've embraced the concept of Jesus taking them away, but have we really, if we still hold them and think we're defined by those? I look at some people and think they're close to sainthood. They do the most amazing things. They are the most wonderful, giving, generous people. And yet I suspect those people still hold on to something from their past and feel less than my perception of them because of the thing that is in their rucksack. So my prayer for you today is that Jesus gives you the ability to see those things for what they are and to let them go. To truly accept the gift of the cross. To truly give up the concept of being who we are because of what we do and embrace the concept of being perfect in God's sight. It's a liberation. It's freedom. It's hope. It's God's purpose for us. We'll be talking tomorrow some more about forgiveness from perhaps a different perspective. But for today, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Please join us this evening at 8 p.m. I think it's Jodie that's taking us through night prayers. And I'll see you tomorrow again at 12 o'clock. God bless.